Yep. Once again, very good morning and thanks for joining. As part of today's session, so we are going to build single subnet always on availability group. So we discussed more about theoretical part about AG. What are the features? What are the enhancement done when you compare with lock shipping, mirroring, and clusters? So we completed theoretical part, and we are going to go for to build the infrastructure for always on availability group on top of cloud, not in on-prem. So first thing what we are going to discuss as part of today is, so we are going to build a DC server, nothing but Active Directory Domain Controller server, okay? And we are going to build the two servers. One is for Dal SQL 45 and one is Cal SQL 198. These are the two servers which are going to part of cluster and which are going to part of always an availability group. Okay, not SQL on always an availability group. It's a standalone SQL always on availability group. Okay, and these two servers are being part of single subnet like a 10.2.1.0/24. So I will create one network and will create one subnet, and that subnet is sitting on 10.2.1.0/24. Within this subnet, so Dal SQL 45, within this subnet, Cal SQL 198 also we are deploying. Now once we deployed always an availability group on top of single subnet availability group, means single subnet. Let's see what are the challenges we'll face while we are connecting to the always on availability group with help of listener. Okay, how we can overcome what is the main difference you will notice in the cloud, not in on-prem. We'll see all the stuff once we build the infrastructure. So for that, first you need to build one traditional VM domain controller server. Okay, and later on we'll install the required features on the DC server. And next we will go for the marketplace. Okay, so we are not going for the traditional VM like spinning the VM. Later on we will try to install the copy the setup file, install the SQL Server setup file traditionally. So we are not doing that stuff. Okay, so we will go to the marketplace and choose the image which predefinedly we will get the SQL Server, and we'll try to deploy SQL Server with along with the operating system to save our time lot in the cloud. Okay, so these two VMs will go to the marketplace along with the SQL Server operating system, and this VM is a traditional VM. Will download the means we'll just create the VM. Later on, we will install the required features. Okay. Now, first thing, once you connect to the portal, okay, as part of first we need to create the resource group. And once while we are creating the resource group, one of the most important factor is which region I need to create the resource group. So I'm going for South Africa North. Okay, and I'm choosing AG hyphen RG. Okay, always an availability group RG. Now next click on review and create. So once you create the resource group, next thing you need to create the network. Next you need to create the network. So go to the back to the portal and click on the virtual networks and create the one virtual network. So here as part of this demo, I am going for 10.2.0.0./16. Okay, when you go for /16, you will get almost 65,000 plus IP address. 65,000 plus IP address you will get when you go for 10.2.0.0/16. Out of this 65,000 IP address, I am going to take only 256 IP address you will get when you go for /24. Okay, when you are masking, you will get 256, and when you go for /16, you will get 65,000 plus IP address. Out of that, you are just taking 256 IP address. Okay. Now you need to choose which subscription. Currently, we are having only one subscription, but in the real world, you are having multiple subscription. So please be careful under which subscription I need to deploy this resource, whatever you are deploying. It can be network, it can be database, it can be virtual machine, it can be storage account, it can be ADF or any resource which you are going to deploy as part of Azure. That resource need to belong to which resource group I need to which subscription I need to deploy, which resource group I need to deploy. These are the two main factors You need to remember. Okay. Yeah. Now, A G VNet. Okay. Now, by default, I'm going for the South Africa North only. Click on next. So I'm not choosing anything. Click on next. Now, as I told you, what is my network? CADR block 10.2.0.0/16. Okay. I'm going for 10.2. Okay. 0.0.0/16. When you go for /16, you will get almost 65,000 plus IP address you are getting. Out of this, I am going to take only 256 IP address by creating the subnet. Okay, so here I'm going to specify subnet A. Okay, subnet A, and I'm going for 2.1. So 10.2.1.0/24. You will get 256 IP address. Click on save and click on review and create. So once you create the network, next you need to create the virtual machines. So as part of today demo, so we need one traditional VM and two marketplace VMs. Okay, so we are going to create one traditional VM and we are going to create two VMs as part of from the marketplace. Means along with your operating system, you will also get the SQL Server. Okay, done. Our virtual network is also created. Now let's go to the virtual machine. So first we'll deploy the DC server. It's a traditional VM. So when you specially go for DC server, it's a traditional VM. So you need to select the subscription. Again, you need to select the resource group and provide the computer name. I am providing as a DC server. I don't want any availability zones. And we are going for standard security type. Image is very, very important. As part of the image, you can go for Windows Server 2025. It's okay, fine. Whatever operating system you are choosing. This is a domain controller server. This is in this server, you are not installing any SQL server. You can choose any operating system. I'm going for Windows Server 2025. And we are going for one core with 3.5 GB of RAM. And select, provide the username along with your password. So as I told you, this is the basic virtual machine, this traditional virtual machine. I no need any additional disk for this VM. So I'm going for traditional standard premium SSDs only. If you want, you can reduce to standard SSD also is fine. In case you feel that, okay, price is little higher for premium SSDs, you can go for the standard SSDs. Okay, so let's go for standard SSD. I don't want premium. Click on network. Okay, let's choose your virtual network. Don't forget, you need to choose your virtual network and let's choose your subnet. Okay, then click on management. So safe side, enable auto shutdown and manual updates. I don't want automatic updates. Disable the boot diagnostics. Click on advanced, click on tags and click on review and create. So this is our basic traditional VM. Okay, click on create. So wait for a while. Let's start the installation. Means let's start the deploy this resource. Then we'll go and deploy one more virtual machine. Okay. Now go to the home page, go to the virtual machines, click on create new virtual machine. I can choose the resource group. So DC has been started in the background. It is creating. You can see the progress here. Okay. So currently DC is deploying. So let it be deploy in the background. Now I need to deploy DAL SQL 45. So I don't want availability zones. Let's go for standard. Now this is something, okay, which is we are doing different. So in a traditional, okay, so last demos we discussed on SQL on cluster. SQL on cluster. So when you go for SQL on cluster, especially, you first build the traditional VM. On top of that, you downloaded the or copy the setup file. Now you went for new SQL Server Failover cluster installation. Next, you went for add node to the Failover cluster installation. So what is the biggest drawback with the SQL on cluster is you can't store your data in the local disk. Everything need to go for the shared drives only. Now to overcome this, Microsoft came up with the always an availability group. Means on top of Windows Failover cluster, means once you build the Windows Failover cluster, now in the real world, you will copy the setup file. Now you'll go for the standalone installation. I already shown you many times how to install standalone installation. So I shown you using PowerShell, I shown you using command line, I shown you using a traditional graphical user interface. To save our time, we are going for the marketplace. To save our time, we are going for the marketplace. Okay. In case in the real world, you will get the traditional VM. On top of that, you will copy the setup file. You will go how to install standalone. Okay. So here to save our time only, I'm going for marketplace. In the real world, may or may not, you will go for the marketplace. Majority of the time, you will get the traditional SQL installation only. That you already aware of that. So that's the reason we are not discussing that stuff, sir. To save our time, we are going for marketplace. So when you are going for SQL on cluster, you need to go for traditional VM, copy the setup file, do the installation. But if you go for standalone SQL, if you are choosing standalone SQL, one shortcut, very shortcut is you can go for the marketplace. You can go to the marketplace. See, you will get Windows Server 2025. On Windows Server 2025, you are getting SQL Server 2025. Okay. Or you can get, okay, if you search for SQL servers, if you search for SQL servers, okay, so you will get SQL Server 2022 on top of Windows Server 2022 server, SQL Server 2025, SQL Server 2019, okay, SQL Server 2019 you will get. So you will get different operating system, not only Windows operating system, you will also get a chance to deploy in the Linux operating system also. See, along with your Linux, you are getting SQL Server also. Okay, so either you will find Linux operating system on top of that SQL or Windows operating system on top of that SQL. By default, that will install and you will get on fly. You can go and use it. Okay, on fly it will install. You need to just go and use it. Now I'm not going for Linux or any other operating system. I'm going for SQL Server 2022 on top of Windows Server 2022. Why, Subham, is you remember first demo I shown you Windows Server 2016 and we build the Windows Failover cluster. Okay. Now here we are going for Windows Server 2022 or 2019 or 2025. What is a major challenge you will, what is a major, not challenge, what is a major difference you will notice? That is what we are going to learn. See, once you build this operating system, okay, you need to build the Windows Failover cluster. See, by default, you won't get the Windows Failover cluster. That you need to do. Only you are skipping is SQL installation. Along with your operating system, SQL installation will get by default. You no need to go and explicitly install SQL Server. Whatever the things you've done for Windows Failover cluster, like a pre, same thing you need to do for this operating system also. Okay, only you are getting SQL Server. You no need to download, copy, install, click on next. That and all things you no need to do when you go for marketplace operating systems. Is it clear, everyone? No? Yes? Okay. I am going for developer edition. Okay. To save our cost. We are under free trial subscription. Now I am going for Windows SQL Server 2022 developer edition on top of Windows Server 2022. Now you are going for choosing one core with 3.5 GB of RAM. Now provide your login name and provide your password. Okay, click on next. So being it is a part of SQL Server, I'm going for premium SSD so that SQL will be learned a little fastly. Click on next. So choose the network. Okay, click on next. So auto shutdown because it will save your time whenever you forget. Okay, save your cost, not time. Click on advanced. See, up to this, even traditional VM also same. Now, there is nothing difference you will notice. Okay, up to this. Only you will get one more window that is nothing but SQL Server settings when you go for Marketplace. Okay, in the real world, you will choose the private network also. Here also you can go for the private network. But as of now, we are going for public network so that it won't block any connectivity, solve the problems when you are doing the practice of the demos. Okay. But in the real world, you will go for the private connectivity only. And if you wanted to change, you can change the port number, or let's go for default 1433 port number. And I need to enable the SQL authentication. So whatever the login you specified for your Windows, same login, same password it is taking for the SQL authentication also. If you don't want this login, if you want different login also, you can provide the different login also. Okay, you can provide the different login. Scroll down. Azure Key Vault, I will talk separately as a service. As a DBA, we must and should know about the Azure Key Vault, which is very important, but you won't get a chance to do all this stuff, whatever we talk in the real world. But what are the things we can do on the Azure Key Vault, you must and should know. You can store your secrets, you can store your logins and passwords, you can store the certificates, you can store the service accounts, you can store the credentials. You can do many things using Azure Key Vault. It's a service like CyberArk. You already know CyberArk. Okay, you already aware of the concept CyberArk, which is going to store the our credentials. CyberArk is used most popular service where you are going to use the credentials like same LastPass. Okay, using LastPass also you can store your credentials. Using LastPass also you can store your credentials. Using CyberArk also you can store your credentials. Like same, Microsoft is also offering a service called Azure Key Vault where you can store your credentials. As of now, we are not going for any Azure Key Vault. Click on change configuration. So one of the most important while I'm installing SQL Server is where I need to keep my data files, where I need to keep my log files, where I need to keep my temp DB. So let's go for data files. So I'm going for MS SQL, / data. See, I'm creating G drive, MS SQL data. Okay, I'm going for SSD. I don't want this much storage, sir, because I'm not doing anything much. So I'm just going for 128 GB of storage. Is fine. So why you are getting this warning is, if you scroll down, log file also pointing to the G drive. Okay, I don't want to keep a log file in the data file directory. I wanted to keep my log file as a separate directory as per the best practice. Okay, so I'm going for L drive. Okay, now here also I'm going for MS SQL /log. Okay, /log. And I'm going for 64 GB. See, Microsoft is offering a temp storage. Every VM, Microsoft is offering temp storage. So being TempDB is also temporary database. So we are going to choose local SSD only. We are not changing anything. So how much space Microsoft is offering as part of this image? Whatever you selected, one core with 3.5 GB of RAM for one core, with 3.5 GB of RAM, Microsoft will provide certain amount of free space to us. If you feel that that space is sufficient, you can choose this location, or you don't want this location, you can create a separate shared disk for the temp DB also. Okay, as of now, for me it's fine, sir. I'm going to create on the D drive. No need to change, sir. By default, the temporary disk letter will be D drive in the Azure. The temp disk drive will be D letter by default. Let it be D drive only, and you just click on OK. So once you click on OK, now if you scroll down, it is asking to change the max drop value, cost, memory settings, and collation. If you wanted to change the collation, you can change the collation. If you wanted to set the max drop value, you can set the max drop value. If you wanted to set the memory limit, you can set the memory limit, and locket-based memory model, ad hoc workloads, instance file installation. All these parameters are very, 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 very important. Each and every parameter, there is a dedicated session. We'll talk so that you can easily understand what and all these parameters are doing and how it is helping our performance. Instance file installation is very important. Lock-based memory model is very important. How many memory models are there, like locker-based memory model, conventional memory model, large-based memory model. What do you mean by locker-based memory model? We'll talk more when we are discussing on the memory. So 2 to 3 days we are spending on the memory, CPU, IO. Every concept there is a dedicated sessions we are talking individually. So that day you will understand and you can replicate while you are installing in the real world. Okay. Any questions? As of now, you can select the instance file installation, which will improve the performance of DB creation, DB alter. Okay. DB creation, DB alter, DB restore. Okay. So which will improve the performance, DB creation, DB alter, DB restore. If you choose instance file installation, you can select it. As of now, it will be default. Click on OK. Now, if you scroll down, if you wanted to make any backups, you can turn it on. As of now, I'm not going for any backups. Let it be disabled. And if you want any missile level, R level language, you can install. Otherwise, this also you can skip it. Okay. Now, once you select everything, just click on review and create. Now it will deploy your operating system along with the SQL also. Along with that, SQL also it will deploy. So you no need to again download the SQL Server, copy the SQL Server, install the SQL Server as a traditional. It will install along with your operating system. It will install SQL Server and it will provide the information to us. Got it? Any questions? No? Yes?
Subbu.
Okay, it started. Meanwhile, we need to go for one more VM, sir, as part of this demo. DAL SQL 45 is getting ready. DC is already ready. Now you need to install Cal SQL 198. Let's go for Microsoft Azure. Again, let's go and create one more VM. You can see the progress here. Okay, DAL SQL 45 is also creating currently. Now click on create, click on virtual machine. So once the session is completed, don't disconnect. I need to talk today, everyone. Okay, please don't disconnect. So Cal SQL 198. You remember today we are having mock interview, first mock interview. So don't disconnect, everyone. Please stay back. So I'm going for SQL Server licensing to the SQL Server 2022 on developer with developer edition on Windows Server 2022. Let's go for one core with 3.5 GB of RAM. Just say admin. Is it my voice is clear when you compare with yesterday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Subbu.
It's a clear, Subbu, as compared to yesterday.
Oh yeah. I finally changed yesterday to my network completely. I changed my network. Okay, so I'm going for SSDs only, networks. Choose the single subnet, subnet A. Click on next. So auto shutdown, just for our safe side. Click on monitor, disable. Click on advanced. Click on SQL settings. Let it be public for a while. Enable. Okay, let's go for see. Please keep the same data drive locations, log drive locations. I am going for 128 GB. Log file expand. Yeah. MSSQL/log. Okay, let's go for 64 GB. Let it be 10 DB on the local drive only. I'm not changing. And I just enable the instance file installation. Click on OK. And rest of the things I'm not doing. Just click on review and create. Almost my 3 VMs ready. Okay. It will take some time, sir, when you compare with this traditional VM deployment. Okay. When you go for traditional VM deployment, these two VMs will take a little more time because along with your operating system, it is also installing the SQL Server. Please keep that in mind. Along with your operating system, it is also installing our SQL Server. So it may take little more time. Let it be deployed. Meanwhile, we'll go to the DC server, sir. Okay. Meanwhile, we'll go to the DC server. We'll copy the DC server public IP address. Okay. Now open remote MG. So change this as a DC server. Okay. And this is my IP address. And I'm using the same password, same login name. I'm not changing the username and password. Mostly I will use the same login, same password. So I'm just double clicking. So meanwhile, let it be deployed. Meanwhile, we'll make a DC server to ready. Okay. So now see the operating system little varying because it is a Windows Server 2025 operating system. Okay. Little more graphical user interface when you compare with the Windows Server 2022. Let's copy. Okay. Dal SQL 45 also. It is deployed. Let's 1 second, sir. Okay. Yes. This is Cal SQL 198. Cal SQL 198. What is this IP address? This. Oh, fine. Let's remove the domain. Okay. Let it be complete. This one. Still it is okay. Dal SQL 45 is almost ready. It is running. Okay. But Cal SQL 198 is still it is creating. Let them create some. Okay. Meanwhile, we'll work with the DC server, domain controllers. I will take one separate session on SQL Server 2025, latest SSMS, latest SQL Server version, and latest operating system. Okay, mostly next week I will plan one or two sessions on that part, so that if sometimes if you are installing SQL Server 2025, little differs. Okay, the installation along with the other things. Okay, we'll spend some time on that concept. So operating system also little different. Running. Okay, let's try to connect. Let's see whether, or let's wait. So let's DC come up in send diagnose to the now DC is back to online. Hold for a while until first time, right? We created and we are trying to log in. It may take little time. Okay, let it be stable. So on the DC server, what are the features you need to install? On the DC server, what are the features we need to install? In the last demo, what we installed? Active Directory. Then we promoted it to domain, and we install iSCSI. Okay, iSCSI initiator. We install Failover Cluster Manager. We install DNS manager. Okay, so we install DNS manager. We install Failover Cluster Manager. We install iSCSI. We install Active Directory. These are the 4 different features we install on top of the DC server. Okay, in this demo also, I'm going to install same thing. Okay, in this demo also, I'm going to install same thing. So I'm going to install Active Directory, iSCSI target. Subbu, just now you told that you don't need any shared disk, right, Subbu? You don't need any shared disk, right? Then why we are going for iSCSI disks? Okay, yeah, I'm agree. You no need any iSCSI target, sir, for the DC server. Okay, I will talk. So what are the features you need to install? Let's go to the manage. I'm in the DC server. Okay, I'm in the DC server. Go to the roles and manage. Go to roles and features. So tell me what are the features I need to install. This is a standalone SQL. This is not SQL on cluster. Okay, but even though standalone, these VMs are going to part of cluster. Okay, now tell me what features I need to install. One is Active Directory. This is the common we need to install. Okay, one more is DNS server. Okay, to know more about DNS, what is happening in the DNS. So DNS is also mandatory. Will you need any iSCSI target here? No, we don't know. We are not creating any shared drives. We are not creating any shared drives. You no need any iSCSI target. We are not creating any shared drives. We are not. We don't need any iSCSI target here as part of this demo. Now click on. I'm not selecting any iSCSI target. Click on next. So Failover Cluster Manager. This is because we are going to configure cluster from this DC server only. So this is the mandatory. So to configure Windows Failover cluster, this server I'm calling as a cluster server also. So that's the reason we are installing Failover Cluster Manager. Only 3 services I'm installing. One is Active Directory, one is DNS, one is Failover Cluster Manager. In the real world, what service you will install on this server? Sir? Only this feature. You never install Active Directory. You never install domain controller. You never install the DNS, all the stuff. Imagine this is again your cluster VM only. So on the cluster VM, what feature you will install? Only Failover Cluster Manager. If you not understand, again raise your voice. In the real world, this server you won't build. This server will be replaced with the cluster server. Cluster server. On the cluster server, what feature you will install? See, you won't install these features also in the real world. There is a dedicated Windows team. You will let them ask, hey, will you install Failover Cluster Manager on that server? They will install behalf of you. Okay, you won't install any features like this in the real world. Who will install? Your Windows team will install, or your Azure infrastructure people will install. But in the real world, you never do these three. 1, 2, 3. Only you may also get a chance to install Failover Cluster Manager. Make sure that all the servers need to have Failover Cluster Manager, including cluster VM also. Okay, not okay, everyone.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Now I am installing Active Directory. I am installing DNS. I am installing Failover Cluster Manager. Click on Next. Click on Next. Click on Next. Click on Install. Okay. Installation has been started. Meanwhile, so as you already know, right? Firewalls. Meanwhile, you already know about the firewalls. Okay. Let's disable the firewalls, enable the ports. Disable the firewalls, enable the ports. Come on here. How much slow it is? Okay, let me call other servers. I think all the servers are ready. Okay, all the servers are ready. All the deployments also done. Okay, so we completed successfully the deployments. Dal SQL 45 is getting ready. Cal SQL 198 is also getting ready. Okay. Go to control panel. Disable the firewalls. VM is little slow, but it's okay. Disable firewalls, internet firewalls. Okay. Turn it off the firewalls. Enable the ports. These servers are little fast only, but 2025. Why this much low? So what are the ports you need to enable? What ports we discussed, sir, in the last demo?
1433,
1433, comma,
50.
1434, comma, 5022, comma, 3343. Okay. So one is the MVP port number, one is the always on port number, one is a cluster port number, one is a SQL Server port number. Later on, if you wanted to enhance, you can enhance also. Fine. These supports are good. Allow the port numbers and mention SQL underscore ports. Okay, finish. Done. Okay. So we disable the firewalls, enable the ports, and we install the required features. Okay. Let it be installed. Sir, it will take some time. Let it be installed. Meanwhile, we'll go to the DAL SQL 45. We'll go to the DAL SQL 198. Okay. See, being these two servers need to go part of cluster. What is the feature you need to install in these two servers?
Only failover. Okay. Scalable cluster.
Okay. Other people's, raise your voice. I'm not know. Only two people are actively raising their voice. Rest of the people, I don't know. Okay. Today there is a mock interview. Definitely you need to raise your voice. Okay. Definitely today. But being it is the first session, we won't go for that much technical. We'll understand the process, everything what we are going to plan. Okay, on Thursday onwards. So that is a plan of agenda today. Okay, click on next. So click on next. Click on next. You don't need to install anyone this. Click on next. So you need to install just Failover Cluster Manager. See, .NET Framework also no need already. You completed the SQL installation. See, already SQL Server 2022 is running. Already SSMS is also running. SSM is already installed. SQL Server 2022 also already installed. You don't need any .NET framework, sir. Only you need to install Failover Cluster Manager. Click on next. Click on install. So meanwhile, so what you need to do? Disable the firewalls. Enable the ports here also. Same thing. What you've done on the Windows Server 2025. Same thing you are doing on the Windows Server 2022 also. See, these are all the steps are common in on-prem also. Disable the firewalls, enable the ports. But half of the work is already done. You no need to install. You are saving your SQL installation time, sir. Luckily, you are going for Marketplace and you already installing. You will get predefined SQL Server. Only one thing is you need to change the service accounts. Okay, so don't forget you need to change the service accounts. 1433, 1434, 5022, 3342. Click on finish, click on OK, click on next, choose SQL underscore ports. Okay, done. Let it be installed. Meanwhile, go to the Cal SQL 188. Here also you need to do same thing. You need to install only Failover Cluster Manager because these two servers are going to part of cluster. Okay, install and disable internet firewalls, enable the ports, disable the firewalls. In this server also see already you got a SQL Server installation 2022 along with your SSMS. SSMS is also predefined install. SQL Server 2022 also predefined install. and you can go for search for firewalls and disable the firewalls, enable the ports. One 433, 1434, 5022, 3343. Okay, SQL underscore ports. Done. Okay. Let's see whether it got installed or not. Almost is done. SQL 45 is already ready, and DC is still installing. Okay, we'll wait until DC get ready. We no need to do anything, sir. But meanwhile, to save our time, so what? See, you remember when we are going to build the quorum in the last demo, we build the disk witness quorum, right? I created a dedicated desk. I just went to the witness. Okay, quorum configurations. I went to the witness. I selected the disk witness quorum, correct? Yes or no?
Yes, okay.
Yes. Now this time, I'm not going for the disk witness quorum. I'm going for the file share witness quorum. Okay, file share witness quorum. To create the file share witness quorum, first I need to create the file share. Okay, for that, I'm going to create one folder on the DC server because DC is more powerful. Okay, more powerful server. I am creating imagine this is our cluster server, not DC server. Imagine this is our cluster server. Under my cluster server, okay, I am going to create, see, every VM, Microsoft is going to provide the temporary disk. Okay, temporary disk. In this disk, if you feel that this size is sufficient, you can keep the temp DB, sir. You can keep the temp DB in the disk because this is premium SSDs only. Okay. Apart from temp DB, you should not keep anything in this style because whenever your VM get rebooted, whatever the data you kept in this temporary storage, everything will be cleaned up. Everything will be cleaned up. So temp DB, no problem, sir, because temp DB will recreate when the SQL is coming online. So no problem. You can keep the temp DB. Now I'm just creating one folder name with the quorum. Okay, folder name called quorum. Okay, I just created a folder name forum. Okay, now don't create the file share so far. Still, wait, sir, because first I need to promote this server as a domain controller server. Next, I need to add the servers to the domain. Later on, we'll create the file share. Okay, first we'll create the file share, and I will show you how to configure file share quorum. Okay, once we build the cluster.
So I have a question.
Yes.
As a
Your voice is not clear that much today, because
I'm in bus actually. I'm going to office.
oh, okay. Yeah.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as the Microsoft giving a temporary file for one temporary disk, so if we think that temporary disk size is not enough, so can we attach disk or not?
No, sir. That is
To
a
this
temp
temporary.
disk which only Microsoft is offering. Okay. If you feel that the temp DB is not sufficient, you will create the dedicated disk and you can keep your temp DB on that drive. Sir.
Okay.
So I have similar question. Suppose if we configure in if it's wrong, then please stop me. If we configure the same in on-prem, the same setup, or in my VM, if I create this scenario, then what about the temp storage?
Temp storage you won't get, sir. Even in AWS also you won't get. Google Cloud also you won't get. On-prem also you won't get. Only Microsoft is offering. See, don't get confused. So when you start deploying a VM, and you go to the deploying a VM. Okay. If you go to the sizes, especially if you go to the size, okay, local storage, how much Microsoft is offering based on your capacity, based on your sizes, this is varying. See, so when you go for 8 cores with the 64 GB of RAM, you are getting 80 GB of local storage SSD. So based on your sizes, Microsoft is offering temp local storage, local temporary storage. If you think that this size is enough, then you can keep the temp DB on the drive.
Suppose I'm configuring in my VM, then my question is that
A VM, you will create a dedicated drive for temp DB, right?
okay, local disk on
Everything
DC.
will be local disk only, sir.
Okay,
See, this DC, I'm just showing example. I'm not keeping anything here. This DC is something different. We are not keeping anything here.
got it.
So
Thank you.
every server, see, when I go to this server in DAL SQL 45, so as I created a G drive for data files, L drive for log files, and temp DB for temp. See, he created a temp folder and he kept the temp DB data files, log files.
Yeah,
So if you go for Cal SQL, also same thing. What Microsoft done? So he created a G drive for data files, L drive for log files, and temporary disk for tempdb because I selected local SSD, right? That's the reason tempdb went to the temporary storage. If you think that this size is not sufficient, you can create a disk and you can attach the disk and you can keep the tempdb. You can move the tempdb from this disk to this disk.
got it, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Come on. Okay, done. Okay, my DC is also ready, sir. It is asking the promote. Okay, then click on close. So first thing, what you need to do once you install the Active Directory, once you complete the Active Directory service, it will ask you a promote call. Promote this server as a domain controller server. The first thing I need to do is I need to promote this server as a domain. By default, it is a workgroup server. Whenever you see that server name, there is a work group. By default, every servers will be in the work group only. It's not part of domain. It's a traditional VMs. Now, what I'm doing, now we are going to promote this server as a domain controller server. Now, once we promote, now from work group to the servers will change as a domain servers. Click on promote. Okay, domain is nothing but a forest. You need to create a forest. Every forest ends with the .com. Ends with the .com. So choose the new forest. Provide the domain name as a sa.com, southafrica.com. Okay, by easily to understand. Click on next, and you need to provide the password in case if something happened to Active Directory, if you want to recover, you can recover with help of this password. Don't ask me how you'll recover. So no, I too don't know, sir, how to recover. If something happened to domain controller servers, okay, we are not a Active Directory team. So you will get the domain name here, SA. SA is my domain. Once your servers are built in on-prem or cloud, networks are everything is configured. Whatever you are doing will be same, sir. Whatever platform you are working, either you are working AWS or Azure or GCP or on-prem, underlying concept will be the same. But this prerequisites only that it will differ here and there, smaller. Okay, the rest majority of the stuff will be the same. And if time permits, definitely I will take one complete session on AWS. How to install EC2 instance. On top of that, how to install SQL Server, and how to build always on availability group on top of AWS. Not now immediately, okay? Don't expect immediately, but definitely we'll get that session. So we'll plan 2 to 3 sessions. So everyone is get ready for today mock interview. The replication.
In which time today I will be my
8:45 means
8.
9 o'clock. 9 to 10.
Okay.
Only this week, sir. Next week again, maximum. Again, I will back to traditional only like 6:45. Let's see how it will go. But please be
today I
available,
will be
everyone.
not an active mode,
No,
but
wait.
I can listen.
If not okay. Let's see. Let them understood. Everyone need to be participate. Okay. Today I will just completely interact more on technical stuff, like how we are going to deal this mock interview, all this stuff. Okay. Mostly Thursday will take the first batch of interview. Okay. Thursday will be the first batch. So I will collect the information by today. Everything will be get it ready by today. And first batch interview will go for the Thursday. Second batch will go on the next Tuesday. Okay. So continuously until March. So we are having the back-to-back mock interviews. If everything is going smoothly as expected, I may increase one more day also. Because based on the count of the people, it should be varies. I may plan one more day extra, like 3 days. Weekly 2 days I am planning. If that is not sufficient, I can go for 3 days also. But definitely everyone need to be part of this. There you should open your mouth, okay? Randomized questions, there is nothing called fixed questions, okay? All are randomized questions only. Whatever in my mind, okay, that questions I will ask, sir. It's not like a sequence order I will follow. No. Okay, yeah. Server is promoted as a domain controller server. Now it will boot your operating system. Okay, only one thing you need to do, mention sa.com domain name. Okay, SA domain. So, being the server is promoted as a domain controller server, now first thing what you need to do, if you wanted to add DAL SQL 45, HO SQL 45 to this domain, what is the major prerequisites you need to remember?
Yeah, Subbu.
No, not Kamal. Always, I told you, you should not be first. Rest, not because you also know.
They all should be in it.
Okay, Sai, you also little answerable, but rest of the people I'll give chance, please. Don't mind anything. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Nothing, sir. Just I'm giving other people to at least where they are sitting. I don't know how many people started creating the Freetail subscriptions. Okay, I'm not hearing, but please practice. Okay. Yeah. What is the first thing you need to do once being the server is promoted to as a domain? What is the prerequisite?
Add the servers.
Okay. Before add the servers, you need to do one thing in the cloud, not in on-prem.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Oh yeah. The other people. So
Open firewall ports.
I enable already firewall ports, disable the firewalls, enable the ports.
So you need to add a IP address for DNS server.
Who is that? Because I told you no.
Sorry, sir.
Kamal, Vikas, Sai Kiran, be a little late, okay? Let's I will take inputs from other people, okay?
Okay,
At least
sir.
we'll get standing. Okay, now only one thing, ma'am, in the cloud. So if you want to add these servers to the domain, okay, when you are especially working with Azure, What is the one prerequisite you need to do it, ma'am? Means whatever the domain, okay, the domain controller server, go to the domain controller server, okay, DC server, okay, copy the DC server private IP address, okay, copy the DC server private IP address, go to the network which you are going to part of domain, which network is going to part of domain, go to that network, okay, and go to the DNS, change the configuration, choose the custom, you need to add this one, okay. So you need to copy the DC server private IP address and go to the DAL SQL 45 Cal SQL 198 servers network, go to the DNS, add this IP address. If you're not doing this one, your servers can't be added to the domain controller. Okay, you can't add the servers to the domain. This is the one of the major prerequisites you will do only in Azure, not in on-prem. Okay, not in on-prem also you are doing same thing, but in a different way. In the different way you will do almost it is also same, but you will do little different. I will show you, ma'am. No worries when we are talking on-prem. So once it is done, now what you need to do? Reboot the DAL SQL 45, Cal SQL 198. Okay, reboot the both servers. Restart. Don't shut down. Restart. And it is a hardware installation planned activity. And I am restarting. Okay, let it be restart. Now Cal SQL 198 also you need to do same thing. You already disable the firewalls, enable the ports, install the required features. You added the DC server IP address to the network DNS. Once everything is done, now then reboot the server by selecting hardware installation planned activity. It's a planned installation, sir. Now you rebooted. Everything got rebooted. Now let's open the DC server. Go for Windows Server 2022 only. Windows Server 2025 a little slower. Okay, for us. But go for 2022 little faster. In case if that day it is compatible for 1 core with 3.5 GB of RAM, go for Windows Server 2022 only. Now yeah, DC is ready. Okay, now your DC server is ready. I'm able to connect to the DC server. So meanwhile, I can open DAL SQL 45 and meanwhile I can open Cal SQL 198 also. Now go to the local server. You will see domain name. You won't see the work group now. You will see the domain name. See, DC server, and you are seeing the domain name. Hold on, it is taking a little time, but you will see the domain name sa.com. Just refresh. It will take some time. Meanwhile, you can go to the DAL SQL 45 and you can add these two servers as part of this domain. You can open Active Directory domain service. Go. Windows Server 2025, little slower when you compare with Windows Server 2022. DAZ.ms. See, now you are able to see the domain name sa.com. Earlier, you saw that work group. Now that is replaced with the SA domain. And this is our Active Directory, and you know the shortcut how to open the Active Directory. And if you expand, currently there are no computers under Active Directory. And if you go for the DNS also, DNS md.msc, okay. Currently, no servers in the DNS also, only DC server information is there in the DNS, and even Active Directory also. Active Directory is this server only. Okay, so you don't have any computers. Now, first thing what you need to do, you need to add cal SQL 45 to the DC server. You need to add cal SQL 45 to the SA domain, not DC server, SA domain, sorry. Okay, cal SQL 45, cal SQL 198, both the servers need to be part of SA domain. Now, what I'm going to do, go to the local server, click on computer, click on change, go to the domain, provide sa.com. If you wanted to add the server to the domain, this is the one of the mandatory thing you need to remember, ma'am, everyone. Sir, this is the mandatory. If you forget this one, you never add the server to the domains. Okay, this is the one of the major prerequisites you need to remember. Once you add it, you need to reboot the servers. If you're not booting also, you can't add the servers to the domain. Okay, that is the reason I not restarted. Once this is added, then only I restarted the servers. Now click on OK. See, now it is asking your username and password. So whatever the username you provided while you were creating the VM, provide the same username and password. Now this server will permit, see, welcome to the sadomain.com. Click on OK. Click on OK. Click on close. Now it will ask you restart. Now what you need to do, go to the DAL SQL, make this domain as a sa.com. Add the sa.com because now this server is part of domain. Now if before that, you can refresh the computer. You can see DAL SQL 45 details. If you refresh the DNS also, you will see DAL SQL 45 details. Like same, you need to add the cal SQL 198 also. Anything, yeah, either you can click on worker group or you can computer name, anything is fine. Say SA admin, provide the password. Okay, restart. Okay, now go to the cal SQL and add sa.com. Okay, now you can connect to DAL SQL 45. Now see, you will see two computers are belong to part of this domain. VM is installed. Refresh. Now you can see cal SQL 198 also. Now if you refresh here, you can see cal SQL 198 also. Now you added both servers as part of the domain. Okay, only one thing is pending. Now you need to build the Windows Failover cluster. You need to build the Windows Failover cluster. Once you build the Windows Failover cluster, you need to configure quorum. Okay, you need to configure quorum. Now, first thing what we are going to do, I need to first build the Windows Failover cluster. So for that, I am opening the Failover cluster manager. To admin. Okay, first I need to build the Windows Failover cluster. Now I am in the DC server. Sir, say I'm in the DC server. Means I am treating this as a cluster server only. I am trying to build the Windows Failover cluster. You already know how to build the Windows Failover cluster, right, everyone? No? Yes? First, you need to validate the cluster. Next, you need to create a cluster. As part of same, here also we are doing same thing. So you know that Failover cluster manager need to be installed on all the servers, okay, which are going to part of cluster. So you will verify, yeah, Failover cluster manager is already installed. In DAL SQL 45 also you will verify Failover cluster manager is installed or not. Okay, yeah, Failover cluster manager is installed. Now I'm good to configure the cluster. So first we are going to build the Windows Failover cluster. On top of that, we are going to build the always on availability group. Now click on next. Add the servers DAL SQL 45, cal SQL 198. Click on add. So I'm adding 2 servers. Now I'm just validating my cluster. It will take a little faster because there is no disk for all this stuff, right? Click on next. It will be a little faster because there is no disk. Okay, all tests are passed. Warning, it's okay, sir. You can ignore it. Nothing. Now, with the help of this, you can go and create the cluster. Click on create a cluster with this validating node. Click on finish. Click on next. So provide the cluster name. AAG Blue SQL. This is my cluster name, AAG Glue SQL. Click on next. Okay. This is very, 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 very important. As I told you clearly, this cluster is for standalone. This cluster is not for SQL cluster. When you decide that I'm going to build a cluster for SQL standalone, you need to select as part of the cluster storages. Now this is standalone SQL installation. You are not going for SQL cluster. You should not select this option. Please understand. This is very important point. Majority of the people may missed. This is for standalone SQL. Okay, so that's the reason you should not select the storage as part of cluster. You should uncheck this one, then click on next. Is it clear, everyone? No, yes. These are only 2
Yes.
things you need to remember when you are
Yeah.
going to form a cluster. For what you are forming a cluster, it's a SQL cluster or standalone SQL. If you decide the SQL cluster, you should add the storage to the cluster. If you go for standalone SQL, you should uncheck this box. Okay, please, this is very, very important. Okay, rest everything will be the same. Click on next. It is forming the cluster. See, it is also creating the shared quorum. You remember just now we discussed about //DC. See, when you are going to create a cluster, in the background, quorum need to be created. Okay. See, it created quorum internally, but that is local quorum. I will show you, sir. 1 second. There is a dedicated session in maybe on Wednesday. I will talk about quorum lot. Once we complete the set of files. Okay. Now see, My cluster is configured. When I go to the roles, nothing is there. When I go to the nodes, okay, two nodes are. But you remember when we formed the cluster in 2016 Windows operating system, one of the node went down, right? Agree, not agree?
Agree, Subbu.
Because it took one of the IP address of any node and that node went down and it formed the cluster. But when you configure Windows Failover cluster from Windows Server 2019 onwards, there is nothing issue because, okay, so both nodes are up. But when you click on the cluster, here you will see something called distributed server name. You remember when you build the Windows Server 2016 cluster, you see the cluster name, cluster IP address, correct? Cluster name, cluster IP address. But from Windows Server 2019 onwards, by default, it is forming a cluster, DNN cluster, distributed network name cluster. From Windows Server 2019 onwards, only in the cloud, not in on-prem. Again, I'm telling, okay, don't get confused. This is the only major difference you will see in cloud, not in on-prem. On-prem, always your cluster IP address will have the IP address in on-prem. Okay, but when you are working on the cloud, that too when you are working on Azure cloud and you are going for Windows Server 2019 onwards, by default, it will form DNN cluster, distributed network name cluster. Okay, I will talk more about this concept on Wednesday, sir. Okay, Wednesday we'll talk. Slowly, you will digest all this stuff, the differences, all this stuff. Okay, one by one we'll talk. No worries. But I'm highlighting why Subbu, either any one of the node went down means there is no IP address for your cluster from Windows Server 2019 onwards. From Windows Server 2019 onwards, there is no IP address for your Windows Failover cluster, only in the cloud, not in on-prem. On-prem, you need IP address. Okay, everyone, getting my point? Yes, no? Stop me if you're not understanding. I will talk more about these points, sir, mostly Wednesday. Okay, I will talk in depth about all these points from Wednesday. Let's do the configurations. First, complete the configuration. Then slowly I will make you strong in all the different concept in cloud, not in on-prem. Okay, if you want to understand a little more, let's open a document, sir. Let's go for where it is. Yeah, see, when you build Windows Server 2016, okay, so what you will see, cluster core resources, you will see server name, nothing but your cluster name. If you expand the cluster name, you are seeing the IP address. Until Windows Server 2016, this is the what is happening even in cloud, even in on-prem. But from Windows Server 2019 onwards, only in cloud, not in on-prem, only in cloud, not in on-prem. When you form a cluster, by default, it is going with the DNN cluster, distributed network name cluster, DNN cluster, distributed network name cluster. You won't see any IP address. That means don't get confused. Okay, internally how it is working, Subbu, means internally also same. If you if you open the Active Directory, okay, you will see cluster name under computer. Okay, you will see cluster name under computer, but only you will see the difference is if you go to the DNS. If you go to the DNS and if you refresh, now see your cluster name, whatever the IP address is mapped to the server, So for Dal SQL 45, 10.2.1.5. For Cal SQL 198, 10.2.1.6. This is the IP address mapped to the server. Same IP addresses are mapped to the your virtual name also, and you are able to see the two names because it's a two-node cluster. Okay, it's a two-node cluster. If it's a three-node cluster, you will see the three virtual names on the DNS, not in the active directory. Not in the active directory, sir. When you go to the DNS only, you will understand. Okay, under DNS, what is happening? Okay, whatever the cluster name we are creating for that cluster name, it is getting the IP address of same as a server name. So Microsoft is avoiding additional IP address for your Windows Failover cluster. So you no need any additional IP address for your Windows Failover cluster from Windows Server 2019 onwards. Only in cloud, not in on-prem. Only in cloud, not in on-prem. So how internally it is working means for every server, how many node cluster it is, that many IP addresses are mapped to the your Windows Failover cluster. Same, the node IP address is mapped. So don't think it is a duplicated all this stuff. Okay, you are not a network providers to go deeper and deeper and deeper what is happening, all this stuff, but understand high level how the algorithm is working. Whatever the IP address is mapped to the server, same IP address is mapping to the cluster also. Okay, to the cluster also. That is happening from Windows Server 2019 onwards. That technically Microsoft is calling as a distributed network name. This is good when you specially go for SQL on standalone. Means I build the Windows Failover cluster. So I just configure Windows Failover cluster. Now for what I build Windows Failover cluster? For standalone SQL. When you are going for standalone SQL, DNN cluster is good. DNN cluster is good. But if you go for SQL on cluster, okay, now DNN cluster won't work. Now your SQL will fails. Yes, yes, Kiran.
Subbu, I need to go actually. There is some issue in production. Can you upload this recording as early as possible after the session?
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Subbu. I'm leaving. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. See, no worries. I will talk more about these concepts in the upcoming demos. Okay. As of now, from Windows Server 2019 onwards, on cloud, if you are going to configure Windows Failover cluster, by default, it will go to the DNN cluster, distributed network name cluster. Is it clear, everyone? Only in Azure. Only in Azure, not in on-prem. On-prem, it will be traditional only. There is nothing difference. Only in cloud from Windows Server 2019 onwards. Now, that is one of the major reason why I deployed Windows Server 2016 first, and now why I deployed Windows Server 2019. Got it? No? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Now we'll talk more about this concept in the upcoming classes. No worries, hold on until here. Now, so now you form the cluster, everything. Now first thing, see, you are thinking that there is no witness, means there is no quorum, but internally it created a local quorum. Okay, without quorum, it won't form the cluster. Without quorum, it won't form the cluster. It created a local quorum, that is logical quorum. Local logical quorum where you can't see it, where you can't modify it, nothing. You can't do anything, sir. That is a local logical quorum has been created. Now, first thing I need to first create the quorum. Okay. Now, what I need to do, I already shown you how to create a disk quorum, disk witness quorum. Now, this demo I'm showing you file share witness quorum. Okay, file share witness quorum. To create a file share witness quorum, the first thing what I need to do, I need to create the file share. So how I'm creating, I will choose any one of the server, okay, to create the file share, and I will create a folder. I will create a folder. So I create a folder called quorum. Okay. Now in a traditional, what you will do, file share means right click on the disk, right click on the folder, go to the property, click on the share, click on the file share. This is what you will do. Majority of the time, that is what I shown you when we are configuring log shipping, file share. Okay, file share. But I'm not doing like this. Now what I'm going to do is, okay, go to the files and storage service. Okay, go to the shares. Go to the shares. Now click on the task. Click on the new share. Okay. Now I'm creating SMB SMB share quick. It's a little faster. Little faster when you go for traditional. It will be little faster. SMB share. So we'll talk what is that SMB also in the storage session. Click on next. Okay. Now where you created the path folder, that directory you need to select. I created this is as a directory. Click on next. Okay. Now I'm creating a file share. Okay. Click on next. So click on next. Nothing to change, sir. Click on next. Nothing to change. Click on create. Done. You created the file share. Click on close. Okay. Now go to the open the Windows Failover cluster. Right click on Failover cluster. Go to the more action. Click on configure cluster quorum settings. Now they will provide you the file share information under which server the file share is created. You should know where they created the file share, which server they created the file share. Now you need to select the quorum witness, click on next, configure file share, click on next. So click on browse, choose the server name DC, click on browse, okay, DC, click on check the name, click on OK. See, by default, it will fetch the file share. You no need to specify the location, all this stuff. Once you provide the server name, by default, it will select the file share. Click on OK. See, this is your file share code. Click on next. Click on next. Okay. Now it created file share witness quorum. So last demo, I showed you disk witness quorum. For that, you need to create a disk and you need to attach that disk to the quorum. This time I shown you file share witness quorum. For file share witness quorum, you no need any iSCSI target. So, Subbu, when you compare with the disk witness, file share witness, which is the best practice means file share witness only, because your file share is sitting on the local disk, sir. Local disk, right? You created a folder, you are sharing that folder, and you are creating a quorum on that folder, and that server is more secured server only wherever we are going to keep. So majority of the time in the real world, rather than choosing disk witness quorum, go for the file share witness quorum as per the best practice. We'll talk this concept in the upcoming classes. Now your cluster, everything is ready. Okay, your cluster, everything is ready, and the SQL installation is also ready. You install the SQL Server, everything is ready, sir. You are good to go for configure always on availability group. You can open SSMS and you can connect to the SQL Server. You can good to go for always on availability. See, I am not talking about any AG concept. Let's go for configuration. So what are the prerequisites? Everything I will talk in the Wednesday or Thursday. Actual always on availability group will talk on the Wednesday or Thursday, sir. Okay, as of now, I'm showing the demo parts. Let's complete the demo parts. Then I will dedicatedly take one session, how to configure best always on availability group in terms of command line, in terms of graphical user interface. Both I will show you. How to create AZ using command line also I will show you. How to create AZ using graphical user interface also. Anyhow, we are discussing AZ in the graphical user interface today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow. You will be strong. I will also show you command line also. Now, the first thing, one major part we need to do still is, Okay, we need to do one thing is SQL servers are running with the local accounts, correct? If you open the configuration manager, your SQL services are running with the local accounts. You need to first change to the service accounts. You need to first change to the service accounts. See, your SQL is installed completely, but it is running using local installation, local accounts. So I don't want any local accounts. I need the service accounts. When you went to the marketplace, it will install the SQL Server, but it will install in the local accounts. Now, first thing what you need to do, you need to create the service accounts. You already know how to create the service accounts. Access SQL, dial SQL 45. Okay, let's create one more service account for another server. Cal SQL 198. Finish. Now go to the Cal SQL 198. Double click on the SQL services. First, I need to change the service account. Okay, you need to choose the domain. Okay, now click on chess. You will get the service account. Provide the password. Click on OK. Okay, we will restart it because you are changing the service account, right? Okay, and let's change the service account for agent also. Change the location to entire directory with the server name, service account name, provide the password. You need to restart SQL. Double click on it and go to the services. Make it this as automatic. And restart the SQL. Okay, meanwhile, go to dial SQL 45 and the change to service accounts. Dial SQL 45. With change the service account for agent also. Access SQL dial SQL 45. Format the password. Change to automatic. Click on OK. Meanwhile, can you start the agent also? Restart the SQL. Okay. Almost our setup is ready, sir. But if I try to build the biggest problem here is if I go for always balancers, it take longer time. See, one thing here, if I try to build the always an availability group now, okay, I need to go for the load balancers. So I may wait for maybe 1 hour, more than 1 hour. Maybe you will feel little overloaded. Can I do one thing? Meanwhile, this is two-node cluster, completely single subnet two-node cluster. Can you deploy DR also? It will save our time in the tomorrow. Okay.
Yes, sure.
Because if I start building the always an availability group, what is the problem is after that I need to definitely tell about load balancers. I need to configure load balancers. I need to run the PowerShell script. I need to talk about load balancers. What will happen, right? It will again overload you. Maybe what I will do tomorrow morning freshly, I will take that concept. It will save our time somehow. It's okay, right? Freshly, you can understand the new that is completely new. Only in cloud you need to understand. Got it? No? Yes? Everyone? So to save our time, because we are having 20 more minutes, can I do DR? Can I build a DR? Can I build a DR site? No? Yes? Everyone?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. Okay. For that, what I need to do, first I need to verify under which server I can deploy with one core 3.5 GB of RAM. That server I need to serve. Not in South Africa. DR need to be in the separate domain. Okay, let's go for Indonesia, whether I'm able to deploy. Oh, I can't. Let's go for East US. I think East US Microsoft won't allow us with one core 3.5 GB of RAM. I know. Let's go for Australia. No. Let's go for Southeast Asia. I'll try North Europe. North Europe. Okay. Central South Indonesia, Japan. Japan also. Okay. Let me do one thing. Let me deploy in the East US only. Okay, I can go for different size, not with one core. I can go for 2 cores, 4 GB, the cost is little higher. Size is so. Let me go for Southeast Asia. Where is Southeast Asia?
Suppose Central India is supporting 2 core.
Majority of the time they will support 2 cores only. Okay. Let's go for Southeast Asia. Is nothing but Singapore data center, much faster. Okay. Central India, DC, 1 core with 8 GB of RAM. Okay, fine. I will go for Central India. Okay, nothing but Singapore data center. Much faster, much well designed data centers. Okay, nearest to India, Singapore is a well designed data center and much faster to us. I'm going for 1 core with 8 GB, 1 core with 8 GB. The price is almost $15. It is varying. Oh, let's go for this one. Okay, it's fine. But what Microsoft is doing, Microsoft is not providing the local. Oh, okay. Oh, Microsoft is not offering local disk. Okay, let's go for this one. At least we'll get $136. Okay, well, anyhow, we'll stop the VM. Okay, tomorrow we'll complete the DR configuration and we'll delete the DR. We don't want DR, sir. We'll go for only 2-node practice everything. Okay, just to configure it, we'll go for DR. Rest again, we'll destroy it. So now what we need to do first, I need to create the separate resource group for DR. Okay. So AAG, DR, RG. Okay. Now I need to go for Southeast Asia. I am creating a separate resource group for Southeast Asia. So tomorrow, don't miss. Tomorrow we are going to discuss massive stuff in the morning. First half, okay. Resource group is created. Okay, created. Then we need to go to the network and create the network, sir. Let's choose the DR site and go for AAG VNet DR. Okay, click on next. Click on next. See, you remember in the for this South Africa data center, we went for 10.2.0.0. Okay. Now for Southeast Asia, we are going for different IP address like 192.168.0.0. Okay, /16. We don't want again go for 10, sir. We don't go for 10. Okay. So we are going for 192.168.0.0. I don't know how many IP addresses are available. Let's go, sir. Let's hit allow or not. And I'm going to create here also subnet A. And here also I'm going for 192.168.1.0/24. You are getting 256 IP address. Click on save. Okay. 192.168.0.0. 192.168.1.0. Okay, fine. Only one VM we are deploying. Okay. Click on create. I just created a network with a different IP address. This time I went for different IP, not 10. Okay, I went for 192.168.0.0/16. You will get 65,000 IP address. Out of that, I fetch only 256 IP address. 192.168.1.0/24. Today evening, I will take network sessions, sir. I don't want to go for again always on availability group. Anyhow, we are having 1 hour time, right? So we'll talk about the network so that you can understand about the networks. Majority of the people are confusing on the networks. Okay, today evening we'll spend on the networks. Okay, 1 hour. Until I build the always on, I can't show any other stuff. Okay, I don't want to take always on in the evening. Okay, I told you, right? Only infrastructure will go for evening sessions. Okay, my network is also ready. Now I need to go and deploy the VM. Okay, I am deploying one more VM. Meanwhile, these two VMs are not doing anything, sir. Let me shut down these two VMs. Unnecessarily, why it need to spin? Let's shut down. Okay, I'm not talking about those VMs. DC, I need work with the DC, so I'm just keeping DC server. I shut down the DAL SQL 45, HO SQL 198. Now let's go for virtual machine. Choose the resource group and go for server name as a HO is SQL 175. Okay. Yeah. Easy to understand. HO is SQL 195. HO is SQL DR 175. I don't want availability zones. I am going for standard. I am going for free Windows Server to the SQL Server 2022 on Windows Server 2022. Let's go for choose the sizes. Oh, D series is a little costly. I can go for the B series. The price is little varying, but I'm not getting the temp storage. I don't want temp storage. I want to reduce my cost. Somehow I need to reduce my cost. Even in the B series also, $75. 1 GB of RAM is not sufficient. 1 GB of RAM is not sufficient. Okay, let's go for this one, sir. Okay, anything, this is also fine. Anything is fine. So I'm going for this one with 2 cores with 8 GB of RAM. I don't have local storage. Okay, good. It's okay, fine. I'm going for local. I will store my temp DB in the any one of the local disk only. No problem for me. Okay. Okay, everyone. Understanding? No? Yes? Okay. So I need to reduce my cost. I don't want to go for much because I'm having only $200. It will gone like anything if you are using massive stuff. Just for demo purpose. All are for demo purpose only. Let's say admin. Okay, provide the IP password. Always save the cost itself when you are practicing. Not in the real world also you need to save the cost, okay? But somehow you need to check, okay, DR, right? Okay, fine. Okay, SSDs. Choose our network. Choose our subnet. Okay. See, I can deploy one more IP address. Click on OK. Auto shutdown. Manual updates. Monitoring, I can disable. Click on advanced. Click on SQL settings. Okay, public. Enable. Okay, and change the configuration. I'm going for G drive. I am going for MS SQL / data. Okay, and my storage will be 128 GB. Log file. I'm going for L drive. Okay, MS SQL / log. Okay, going for 64 GB. Now temp DB. Now someone asked me a question, right? Now see, now you don't have local disk, right? Now you are creating a dedicated disk for temp DB. I think Harsha, right? You asked, right? Harsha only, I think. Someone asked just now.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
if you don't have temporary storage or the size which you are not fitting, then you will create the disk for dedicated disk for temp DBs. Okay, got it? MS SQL / temp DB. Okay, I'm going for 32 GB is fine for me. Okay, temp DB, how many files? Okay, files, okay. How many files you are configuring? All the stuff we will talk. Click on OK. Instance file installation we enable on the rest. Everything will be same, review and target and create. This will be little faster, sir. This VM deployment is faster. Okay, in case you are not able to find one core with 3.5 GB of RAM, and see Microsoft is charging little higher. Okay, little higher. But please be careful. You need to shut down the VMs. Go for South Africa, one core with 3.5 GB of RAM. Microsoft won't charge that much. Now VM is almost getting ready. Once it is ready, now what is the thing you need to do? What do you need to do, sir? You need to add this server also to the domain, right? Correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if you wanted to add the server to the domain, what you need to do again? One more prerequisites.
DNS entry.
Yes. You need to open the DC server, copy the DC server private IP address. Okay. Go to the network. Okay. DR is available under this network, right? Not this network. This network, DR network. You need to open the DR network. Go to the DNS. Click on change. Click on custom. Add the DNS. Okay. Remove the spaces. Click on OK. This is only one thing you need to remember when you are specially working on the cloud. Got it? No? Yes?
Yes, sir.
So meanwhile, let it be server deploy, sir. It's easy only, nothing. You need to. Meanwhile, I can do one thing. I can create one more service account. Okay, for DR side. Let me create one more service account to save our time. HOE, no. Access SQL, HOE, SQL, DR, 175, right? Our name? Yes, I think this is correct. Copy and the password never expire, and provide password. Click on OK. Click on OK. We created the service account also. Now let it be done, sir. I create the new connection here. New connection, and I'm mentioning the server name as HOE SQL DR 175, and I will copy the public IP address of the server. Okay, this is the public IP address. Copy the public IP address, and password is username is admin. Password is okay. I'm ready. Okay. Once it's ready, I will disable the firewall, enable the ports, add the node to the cluster. Okay. So in the future, if someone is asking how you will add a node to the existing cluster, see already your cluster got built, but cluster is currently down, sir, because I shut down DAL SQL 45, Cal SQL 198 is currently your cluster is shut down. So first only we'll do one thing, we'll install the prerequisites. Later on, I will add the DR site. Okay. Before that only we are doing all the stuff. Tomorrow I will show you how to add the node to the cluster. So I think we are good. HOE SQL DR 175 is almost running. It will be little faster, sir, because Singapore is nearest to India. Okay, this data center is little faster to us when you compare with the South Africa. Okay, but East US is also little faster for us, because if you're having 10 data centers, out of the 10 data centers, 5 to 6 data centers are well designed data centers. Means majority of the service you can deploy. Okay, but couple of data centers are not that much well designed. Couple of services you can't deploy under the data centers. It can be VM, it can be network, it can be anything, sir. Means Microsoft is offering 60 plus data centers throughout the global 60 regions, not 60 plus data centers, 60 regions. Microsoft is having its own data centers. Okay, in India we are having 4 data centers. One is in Mumbai, one is in Pune, one is in Chennai, one is in Delhi. Okay, 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, we are having only 3 data centers in India: Mumbai, Pune, Chennai. 3 data. Now Microsoft introduced one more data center in Delhi. Total, we are having 4 data centers. So in the region, you are having data centers. That technically we call it as zones. Region is country, zones are nothing but data centers. So under the specific region, how many zones are having means how many data centers Microsoft is offering. So in India, so we are having almost 4 zones. Okay, 4 zones we are having. Let me try to connect whether I am able to connect or not. Let's see, sir. Server is still deploying. Almost 60 minutes or gone. Let's see the progress. Oh, it is installing SQL. VM is ready. VM is everything is ready. It is just installing the SQL in the background. And my VM is also connecting. It is installing. Okay. Don't shut down, don't restart, sir, because still installation is on progress. Okay, I just connected. Meanwhile, I can do a couple of things in the server. Here also what you need to do, you need to install only. Okay. Search for right. Disable the firewalls. Enable the ports. Port. 3334 equal ports, equal underscore ports. Done. Major part is done. Now, meanwhile, I can install. I don't need anything, only Failover cluster manager. Click on next, click on install, and disable the internet firewalls also. Okay, and go to here. Okay, deployment is done. Okay, first I need to add the server to the domain. So once that installation is done, we'll reboot the server and we'll add the server to the domain. Currently, under the Active Directory, you are able to see only 2 servers. One is cat SQL 198, one is DAL SQL 45. Okay.
So, 2 things. First, you create the user in managed service account. Second, in real world, you create the user, but you have not given any permission.
No need, sir. It's a manager service account. It is Active Directory login.
Okay.
And
In
your
real,
server is part of. This is real world only. Don't think the real world. This is the real world only, right?
okay. So no permission is required
No permission
for
is required,
for
sir.
the
No,
service accounts you create
no,
in the.
no.
Okay.
In front of you only, I'm doing everything. Okay,
No,
there is nothing.
actually, I thought this is demo environment.
No,
But
no, no, no.
in
It's a
okay.
complete real world environment only. There is nothing called demo. Okay,
So
please
no,
don't
no
think.
permissions are required for the user create for the service
No,
account.
no.
Okay, got it.
See, this is completely real world only. But behind you, many team is working. Here, no one is there, right? Windows team is not there, network team is not there, storage
Yeah,
team is not there, Active Directory team is not there. Okay, so you are becoming everything. Now you are becoming some expert in other concepts also. Oh, this is how network people is working. This is how DNS people is working. So this is how storage team is working. This is how Windows team is working. Okay, you are doing everything, and this is real world, not for demo. How you are doing same thing in the real world also, same agenda only. So in front of you only, I'm doing everything. So now your installation is also done. Now what you need to do? You need to restart the servers. So once server is back, I will add the server to the domain and I will change the service account. Okay, then we'll stop the session. Now go to the local server, click on name. See, this is, oh, yeah. Now see, okay. Now click on change, click on domain. Now if I add a domain sa.com, okay, if you click on OK, will you think that it will work? Will you think that it will work? Yes, right? Because you copied the DC server private IP address, you added to the server DNS. If you click on OK, okay, it won't work. It won't work because, okay, you remember, not remember, these are the two different networks. By default, two different networks won't communicate each other. Agree, not agree?
Yes, Subbu, I agree.
By default, these two networks won't communicate with each other. So you need to make first a communication bridge. So how I can make the communication bridge? You are having different approach. One is, okay, VNet. This is VNet. This is VNet. This is one virtual network. This is one virtual network. How you can make a bridge between is there are multiple techniques Microsoft is offering. One is VNet using gateways. Okay. One is peering. One is point to site. One is site to site. Okay. These many ways you can make a bridge between this virtual network to this virtual network. Virtual network gateway is little expensive and little time consuming process. Point to site is also little expensive and time taking process. Site to site is also little expensive and you need more time if you wanted to build all this one. Okay. For demo purpose, we are going for demo. We are not a network providers to build all this stuff in the real world. You are a SQL database administrator, but we wanted to make the communication is very simple is peer to peer. Even AWS also there is a concept called peering. In Azure also there is a concept called peering. In AWS you will call it as a VPC peering. In Azure you will call it as a VNet peering. Okay, and you don't need any additional IP address, nothing, sir, and not that much cost effective peering concept. If your project is smaller, medium scale application, VPC peering is the best choice if you want to make a communication between network to network. So if it is a massive scale application, massive scale environment, then definitely you need to go for either gateways or express route point to site or site to site. You need to go for other different techniques, complicated techniques. Being we don't want to go that much complicated, so we are going for peering concept. Okay, VNet to VNet peering. You no need any additional IP address, nothing, sir. You no need nothing. What you need to do if I wanted to build a VPC peering means, see, one network is in South Africa, one network is one network is in Singapore, one network in South Africa. So you can open any network, sir, between across these two. Any network, open the network. Okay. Now, if you scroll down, there is a concept called peering. Click on the peering. Okay. Now click on the add. Very simple. What you need to do. Okay. Any name, primary, DR. Any name, sir. Any name you can keep it. Dummy name, nothing. There is nothing standard name you need to keep there. So primary to DR, we are configuring the setup. Now here the very important is you are under AAG VNet. Now to which network I need to peer? Okay, that network you need to select. I need to select the DR. Once you select the DR, see, from the AAG VNet to from the AAG VNet to DR, I'm making the communication bridge using peering. Now you need to provide the name, one more name. Okay, vice versa name. So what I'm making DR to primary. See, this name is not a mandatory, like you need to specify like this. Whatever name you can keep it, but keep in a meaningful name, sir. So one I'm keeping primary to DR, second I'm keeping DR to primary. I am making a bridge. That's it, sir. Nothing to select anything here. Just click on add. Now it will create internally peering, means it will create the network to network communication. And it is a lightweight tool and no expensive. You don't need any additional IP address. You don't need any additional configuration. Nothing. If it is a lightweight network communication, peering is the best choice for us. Peering is the best choice for us. So if you simply add the DNS server, your server won't even go for the DNS. See, now it is done. Okay, now it created the peering. If you go for DR site also, if you go for peering here also, you will see. Refresh. See, here also you will see. Primary to DR, DR to primary, it created a peering. Now go to the server. Now you can click on OK. Now it will communicate. See, now it is asking. Okay, please don't forget this one. If you are going for DR site. Got it, everyone? No? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Done. That's it, sir. Apart from nothing else you need to do. Peering is a lightweight. I think password is wrong. No, it's a DR, being it is a DR site, right? It will take little time. Okay. Okay, done. Okay, servers are part of domain. Everything is okay. Click on close. Restart now. Okay. Make this as also as a SA domain, sa.com. Okay. Now if you refresh Active Directory, you will see one more server name, which is part of different network. And you will open the DNS also. You will see DR IP address is something different. See, 192.168.1.4. Our primary data center IP address is 10.2.1. Okay, 10.2.1. And one more IP address is 192.168.1.4. See, so you have make a communication between two different networks using peering concept. So what technique we'll use in the real world means it depends on, I told you, right? Small scale applications, medium scale application, they will go for peering to reduce the cost. Large scale application, extreme large scale application, they will go for gateways, point to sites, site to sites, express routes. They will go for different networks. We don't need that much networks in a general as a database administrators. Large scale applications, extreme large scale application, they will use gateways, network gateways, tunnels. They will create the tunnels, they will create the gateways, tunnels, they will deploy. As of now, we know it's a peering is a good for us. Now you can open. Yes.
Different regions can be in same forest. That is sc.com is there, no?
Yeah, that is what, right? I done same thing. See, networks are wherever you want, you can give network. Whether the server where you need to add, that is very important. Either you need to add in the same domain or different domain. If you're having one more domain, you need to add there, you can go and add there.
Okay.
See,
So one question.
these are all part of same project only, right? All subs, but both are in different networks.
Yes. So one question. So
Yes.
if you go to DNS once again for both the SQL Server, like DNN already created. For this one, we need to install Failover. Means that
DNS.
DNN created for both the nodes. For this one, the newly created DR, the DNN is not
No,
created.
no. This still not add to cluster, right? You
Yes,
need to
yes,
add
yes.
this server to the cluster. Then only it will show here. Otherwise, no.
Okay, so
This just you are deploying. You are not adding the
yeah.
server to the cluster. You are
Okay. Once we
created a
added them.
VM. You added the server to the domain. That is only you done so far.
Okay. Okay.
Next upcoming demos, I will show you how to add the server to the existing cluster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Subbu,
Yes.
on on-prem we can see the gateway, right?
See, gateway, anywhere you will see the gateway, right? The bottom when you are going to build the networks. If in on-prem, what you will do, sir, you will go to here, networks. You will open the Ethernet. You will change the adapter. Okay. You will double click here. You will go to the properties, and you will go for properties, and you will change the gateways here, right? Default gateway, DNS server, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. But this you won't do in the cloud. By default, you no need to do like this. On-prem, you will do like this. In cloud, what you done, you went to the specific network and you went to the DNS of the network and you added the DC server IP address here. But same thing you
Yes.
will do in on-prem like this. Here you will do. That's the only difference, sir. Is there any difference, extra difference you will notice? No.
No. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, but there is no concept called peering, all that stuff in on-prem. Okay, this DNS is playing a major role. This DNS,
Okay.
see what and all things
Got
they
it.
will do, we don't know, sir, literally, but we don't need to go that much deeper about the networks. SQL itself, we are forgetting. Okay, SQL itself, we are forgetting. If you go for networks, everything will gone. So no worries. Don't think too much about the networks. Now, only one thing, sir, I need to pending is let's change the service accounts. Then we'll stop the session. Okay, Access SQL HOA is equal DR 175. Copy. Easy. Okay, until unless you try to configure 1 or 2 times. Okay, how you are confusing your brain is very important. If you confuse lot, you will definitely confuse. If you don't want confuse your brain lot, it is very easy. Easy installation. Again, very easy installations. All are very easy. I don't want confuse my brain lot. Got you, everyone? Like how on-prem is working, how cloud is working, what are the
Yes,
things?
Subbu.
Why, sir? It is just infrastructure. Oh, in on-prem, we will go here and we'll do the configuration. In cloud, we'll open the network and we'll add the DNS. That's it. Yeah, that's it, sir, for today. And evening, as I told you, right? I know something should be my explain. Okay, yeah. So today evening we'll talk about the networks. Okay, now you will understand subnetting, masking, all the stuff, sir. And over the night, otherwise we can do one thing. Only for this setup itself, we need to spend 1 month, I think so, to do all these kind of setups. Right, everyone? Let me stop the recording.